All right, welcome everyone. I will call the Commissioners meeting of November 17, 2021 to order. We have a very full agenda today. We will do our best to move along expeditiously. And I want to acknowledge we're joined by our esteemed Deputy Controller, Tyler Chronister. Take a note, he has a tie on. That's maybe once in a lifetime we see him in a tie. So again, I'll call the Commissioners meeting to order. We're joined once again by our friend and veteran, Patrick Rambeau, who's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And we're joined by our Madam Prothonotary, Allison Blue, who's going to lead us in the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you for giving us all one more day above ground, and thank you for this weather that you've given to us. And I pray that you would give wisdom to those who are making decisions and laws to govern us on the federal level, the state level, and in our county. I pray that you would protect those who are protecting our nation overseas and bring peace and comfort to their families that are missing them or maybe have experienced the loss of a loved one. Pray you would give us a great day. I pray all these things in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen. So as we go through the agenda, we just want to make sure everyone is clear on the items that are up, motions. I typically ask, is there any further discussion or are there any questions or comments? That is your time in the audience to come forward if you have something that pertains to that specific motion. As I said, we have about 20 pages to go through today, so we are going to move quickly, but I just want to make sure that we're clear with you all that that's your opportunity if you have something specific to that motion to speak. We will continue to open it up for public comment prior to the adjournment of the meeting. So with that, we'll move on to item number 5 on the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through K, as listed below.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 6.
I'll make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Adult Probation Department and Connect Rec, San Francisco, California, to provide an updated case management system to better manage probation's caseload, including audit and pretrial defendants, at no extra cost to the county.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 7.
Make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Sheriff's Office and TransUnion LLC, Chicago, Illinois, to provide pre-employment credit checks. The cost is $20 per month and $7.25 per employment credit report for the period of November 22nd, 2021 to November 22nd, 2022.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 8.
I'll make a motion to approve the following contract agreement amendments between the County of York on behalf of the Area Agency on Aging Department and for meal delivery services or center services for fiscal year 2020 and 2021, paid from state lottery dollars, and they're as listed in the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 9.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement and HIPAA Business Associate Agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Area Agency on Aging Department and Lifeline Systems Company, Framingham, Massachusetts, for renewal of Lifeline installation and monitoring services for fiscal year 2020-2021 for a total cost of $39,975 for the period of July 1st, 2020 to June 30, 2021.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 10.
Excuse me a second.
Sure.
It says July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. Is that correct, Mark? The date for that? Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that we're correct on the dates.
Yep, no problem. Number 10?
Number 10, I make a motion to approve a contract agreement and HIPAA Business Associate Agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Area Agency on Aging Department and Lifeline Systems Company, Framingham, Massachusetts, for renewal of Lifeline installation and monitoring services for fiscal year 2021-2022 for a total cost of $32,400 for the period of July 1st, 2021 to June 30, 2022.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 11.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Human Services Department and the Pennsylvania Care Partnership, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, for the continuation of the System of Care initiatives for a total cost of $600,000 paid from state funds for the period of September 30th, 2021 to September 29th, 2023.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 12.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Department of Emergency Services, 911, and MCM Consulting Group, State College, Pennsylvania, for financial and strategic planning services at a cost of $22,000 for a one-year period commencing January 1st, 2022.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I do have a question for Mark on this one. Is this something that we could do in-house?
It's something that we definitely should consider doing in-house.
Okay.
Talk with the director at 911.
Okay, so,
To be able to take a look at this.
okay, so maybe I would suggest we table it and do some further investigation to make sure if we can do this in-house, maybe we should proceed that way. So if I could have a motion.
Motion to table.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of tabling item number 12 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll table the motion. Item number 13.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York and Business Information Group, Inc., York, PA, to conduct a series of surveys and gather the appropriate information to design and engineer approximately 9 square miles of WI-FI broadband to serve York City, West York, and Northern York, and the Hanover areas for a total cost of $438,400, funded from the American Rescue Funds.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I would just comment that the Commissioners have allocated up to $25 million of the rescue funding to help close the digital divide in York County, and the money to pay for this contract will come from the rescue funding.
And let me say that it's nice to have a York company involved in the project.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 14.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the York County Youth Development Center and PRIA Auditors of America, LLC, to complete an audit of the facility under the requirements of the Prison Rape Elimination Act for a total cost of $5,495.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 15.
I make a motion to ratify a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the York County Prison and CSAL LLC, Greenville, South Carolina, with de minimis changes from the agreement approved on October 20th, 2021.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
And I'd like to make a few comments. I know on October 20th, we had some public comment here about this contract. The Commissioners actually went back and discussed this, and there were a few, as it says in the motion, de minimis changes made to the contract. And I just wanted to go over like 4 areas to make a public statement about it. Obviously, because it was changed, the date affecting the contract was changed on it. There was an out clause in the contract, which was not in before, that we can make a determination to end the contract if there's any controversy. There was a code of ethics that will be signed by contractors doing work at the prison, and that was established and put into the contract. And there was a question about inmates ever being used in participation of training exercises. That has never happened, but that is in this contract, and it will be, provided for.
Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Sandra Thompson. I am a resident of Spring Township. I'm an attorney in the area that actually does criminal defense as well. And I am second vice president of York NAACP. So I am coming today with a statement from York NAACP. So I'm going to just read the statement. Okay. We understand that the vote to approve Seesaw contract may be a mere formality because the decision to approve has already been made. We understand that since the last commissioners' meeting, the York County Commissioners, in requesting Seesaw to delay signing the contract, said they heard the community who expressed caution and concern. We understand that the York County Commissioners attempted in their own way to address the community's concern about Seesaw and their senior team leader, Joseph Garcia, by making minor changes to the contract. Since our criminal justice system is shaped by biased policing and unfair judicial precedents rooted in anti-blackness and racial disparity, since black people are incarcerated at more than 5 times the rate of whites, and since the cost of an unjust justice system is high on the emotional, mental, physical, and financial impact on our communities, we, the York NAACP, are asking the York County Commissioners to do more than just hear us. We, the York NAACP, need the York County Commissioners to understand that we do not approve of a county contract that uses the dollars of taxpayers that include black and brown people to fund a company like Seesaw under the leadership of Joseph Garcia, who has shown by his comments and by his prior behaviors that he has no empathy for the rights of others or an understanding of proper policing. Contracts with Seesaw in or under the leadership of Joseph Garcia have contributed to other counties and other states paying for their civil rights violations. The York County Commissioners have already heard about the other counties and other states that backed away from contracts with Seesaw or Garcia's prior company, Seesawg. Around or before October 28th, Weld County Board of Commissioners in Colorado agreed to several conditions as a part of about a $325,000 settlement, including that it will never again contract with Garcia or any companies connected to him for training. York County Commissioners must ask, what policies are you intentionally creating for the treatment of the residents of York County Prison? And they must evaluate, have they done their due diligence in investigating Seesaw, that once was Seesawg, and Joseph Garcia, and does the potential benefits outweigh the financial risks of spending taxpayers' dollars to contract with a company and with a man whose motto and training techniques, past or present, include break the jaw and walk away. So again, York NAACP respectfully requests that the York County Commissioners recognize that the true price of contracting with Seesaw and or Joseph Garcia is too high of a price for its citizens to pay, and that they reject the contract. Thank you.
Any further discussion, questions, or comments? Okay, hearing none. Oh.
Good morning.
Morning.
Dr. Larry Walter, our senior pastor, Shiloh Baptist Church here in York, York City citizen. This morning I stand not in the capacity of the NAACP, but I stand in the capacity of a pastor in this community, and one that is well engaged with this issue. This is a very divided issue. However, there are other components. In talking to some of the officers that work there, we've been in dialogue that there have been some improvements in the county prison. My suggestion going forward with this, and I'm sure the body has made its decision on this, that going forward, there be some accountability measures in place. I do have personal concerns with Mr. Garcia that I've expressed publicly and privately. I think his personal views are very divisive, insensitive, and culturally dangerous. It is my understanding that with this particular program, he is not the one doing it in the prison. He's the one that's training people to do it. And talking to some of the officers that I've been privileged to talk to, they have expressed some hopes. I'm cautiously optimistic on this. I'm very, very concerned, but I do believe that moving forward, there has to be some accountability, and if anything happens at that prison, he needs to be held accountable to the highest extent of the law, because you are making decisions for taxpayers, and as we can see for this community, York County is changing. The decisions you make regarding taxpayers also include taxpayers who look like me, and those voices have to be weighed, those voices have to be considered, and those voices have to be valued. And I hope that moving forward on this, you take that into the highest consideration. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 16.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Solicitor's Office and GovGQA for the purchase of right-to-know management software for the cost of $19,750.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 17.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the District Attorney's Office and LexisNexis, New York, New York, for the purposes of legal research at a monthly cost of $1,761.50 for the period of October 1st, 2021 to September 29th, 2023.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 18.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Court Administration and Thomson Reuters, West St. Paul, Minnesota, to provide legal book subscription for common pleas judges for a total cost of $21,655.56 for the period of October 5th, 2021 to October 5th, 2026.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 19.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection regarding the work and activities of the former contractor at York County Bridge 28 for total cost paid to the Commonwealth by the County of York will be $10,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 20.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York and Elections.
Hold on a second, Doug.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, my pages were stuck together. Just want to make sure we're on the right version. Okay, 20.
I make a motion to approve a contract agreement between the County of York and Election IQ LLC for ADA survey analysis, reporting, and compliance plan for a total cost of $48,300 and travel expenses.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
And Michelle, could you kind of explain why we're looking at this motion?
We are in motion 20.
Yeah. About the election?
The election IQ software, well, not software, it's a company that would come in and do a complete survey of all of our polling locations to determine compliance with the ADA, Department of Justice guidelines. And so not only will they come in, do an analysis, they will provide us a survey, and they will also provide us a compliance plan moving forward. And they're actually ready to start at the very beginning of the year.
And we have 161 polling places right now, and
Yep.
we have several
161.
that aren't ADA compliant.
Yeah, we did, the Department of Justice came in about 2 years ago, completed a review of 28 out of 30, indicating that there was some non-compliance. Now, some may be temporary fixes or, the ability to fix them just on election day. They're not major fixes. But this company will actually come in and review what the Department of Justice has reviewed as well to see where there's likely maybe some errors. Because if the Department of Justice comes in on election day every year when it's very busy, they may not know of all of the different entrances and exits needed for ADA compliance, so they may have missed something. So Election IQ will also make sure that those non-compliance areas are truly non-compliant.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 21.
I make a motion to approve a mutual aid agreement between the County of York on behalf of the Department of Emergency Services, 911, and Defense Distribution Center, Susquehanna, to provide emergency mutual and dispatch service guidelines for fire and EMS resources.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 22.
I make a motion to approve the submission of a grant application on behalf of the Adult Probation Department to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, in the amount of $435,532 to seek grant funds from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency to offset probation officer salaries and provide incentives for defendants on supervision.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 23.
I make a motion to approve a revised agreement between the County of York and the City of York allocating the proceeds of the 2021 JAG grant in the amount of $50,532 to the City of York, adding York County Regional Police Department, which will retain $11,483 of the proceeds to cover the purchase of technology equipment, license plate readers, entry shields, binoculars, a tracker, cellular subscription, lighting, generators for crime scenes, decals and wraps for crime scene van, payment of bicycle certification training for officers who are part of the Bicycle Patrol Program, and other equipment that impacts the County of York, such as community policing activities and gang-related prevention.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 24.
I make a motion to redeem the York County General Obligation Bonds Series B of 2016, currently outstanding in the principal amount of $5,745, $5,745,000 on December 1st, 2021, and to notify the paying agent that they are hereby authorized and directed to send the notice of redemption to all bondholders.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
And Mark, would you like to talk about this motion?
Sure. These bonds are currently callable, which means that we can notify the bondholders that we want to basically pay them off. Normally, when the bonds are callable, the county will sit down with the financial advisor and review them, and in most cases, will end up refinancing the bonds at a lower interest rate. And looking at these bonds and basically the returns on our investment, the advice of our financial advisors was to basically pay these bonds off. So we're actually paying these off, which will save the county about $600,000 per year for the next 10 years.
So we're looking forward to not paying principal and interest the next 10 years, calling the bonds and saving that money annually.
Right.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 25.
Make a motion to approve the reappointment of Mrs. Kimberly McLaughlin to serve a 10th three-year term on the York County Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council effective April 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Just one question. Is that the correct spelling of Kimberly's last name? Rebecca? Okay,
I'm not sure.
all right. Let's double check the spelling. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 26.
I'll make a motion to approve the reappointment of Ms. Deborah Daniels to serve a 5th three-year term on the York County Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council effective August 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 26.
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Claire Dahl, Executive Director, York County Human Services Department, to the York County Human Services Fund Board of Directors for a term effective November 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2022.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 28.
I'll make a motion to approve the appointments of the following individuals to the Conservation District Board. Mike Smith, Windsor, Farmer Director, a 4-year term. Doug Goodlander, Edders, Public Director. And Julie Wheeler, Commissioner, a 1-year term.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Since I'm on this motion, I'm going to recuse myself from the vote. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 29.
Motion to approve the reappointment of Philip Riddell, York Township, to the York County Redevelopment Authority Board of Directors for a 4-year term effective January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 30.
Motion to approve the reappointment of the following individuals to the York County Blighted Property Review Committee: Joyanne Galliano, Raffo Township, 3-year term, 01/01/2022 to 12/31/2024, and Thomas Engler, York Township, 3-year term, 01/01/2022 to 12/31/2024.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 31.
Motion to approve the appointment of the following individuals to the York County Land Bank Authority: Felicia Riddell, York County Planning Commission, 2-year term; Shanna Taroso, Spring Township, for a 2-year term.
I'll second the
I
motion.
have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Item number 32.
Motion to approve the reappointment of Fiona D. Eister, Senior Mortgage Service Partner at York Traditions Bank, York County, to the Housing and Community Development Loan Committee for a 2-year term beginning December 1st, 2021 through November 30th, 2023.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Item number 33.
Motion to sign a settlement agreement between the County of York and C. McWilliams for payment of $27,500, wherein it is agreed that C. McWilliams will release the county of any and all current or future claims with regards to her employment.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 34.
Motion to approve a managed print services agreement between the County of York on behalf of York County Information Technology and Services Department and Fraser Advanced Information Systems, West Reading, Pennsylvania, for maintenance and supplies, except paper and staples for laser printers for the period of January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2024. The rates are as listed below.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 35.
Motion to approve a software license renewal purchase between the County of York on behalf of the Information and Technology Services Department and CDWG Chicago, Illinois, for 1,800 carbon black endpoint protection software licenses from January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, for a total cost of $35,550.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 36.
Motion to approve the purchase of an agricultural conservation easement on behalf of the County of York, acting through the York County Agricultural Land Preservation Board from landowners Kenneth R. and Deborah D. Snyder, in the amount of $305,040 on 101.68 acres of farmland located in Dover Township.
I'll second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 37.
Motion to approve a bid award between the County of York on behalf of the York County Prison and Associated Steam Specialty Company, Aston, Pennsylvania, the lowest responsible bidder, for the purchase of 2 Armstrong mixing values in the total amount of $21,803.40.
I'll second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 38.
Motion to approve a bid award between the County of York on behalf of York County Prison and McClure Company, Harrisburg, PA, the lowest responsible bidder, to install 2 Armstrong mixing valves in the total amount of $28,203 for the period of November 22nd, 2021 to December 6, 2021.
I'll second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 39.
Motion to approve the execution of a fee agreement for Met Evans and Woodside to be added as special legal counsel to represent the county for antitrust litigation.
I'll second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 40.
Motion to approve the change order number 2 for the rehabilitation of the hangar area apron at the York Airport, resulting in a savings of $20,408.64 due to adjustments to materials, quantities based on the final as-built amounts measured and agreed upon by the contractor and the engineer.
I'll second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 41.
Motion to adopt Resolution 2021-33, the appointment of the York County Planning Commission as the award administrator for the state and local fiscal recovery funds under the American Rescue Plan Act for an administrative fee of $300,000. The York County Planning Commission shall administer those funds awarded to local nonprofits and private organizations.
I'll second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
And Mark, this is done to speed up the process?
Yes. This specific type of funding, the American Rescue Plan funding, carries with it a lot more compliance requirements than what the CARES funding did in
Right.
2020. And York County Planning Commission does a great job at administering those type programs for us.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Item number 42.
Motion to approve the release of funds in the amount of $22,089.21 to Farm and Natural Lands Trust of York County for acquisition of a conservation easement of 17.46 acres in North Cadorus Township, owned by Larry R. and Loretta G. Redding.
I'll second motion.
I have a motion and a second. I see Sean making his way up here.
Morning, everyone, and thanks for having me on this busy meeting. This name should be familiar to you. We've done several properties with these landowners. The property here is one of the smaller ones, but it connects 3 already preserved properties totaling over 350 acres. Probably one of the most traveled sections in the Spring Grove area, so this will help protect a significant amount of scenic view and some water, wetland areas and some plantings. The landowners themselves have planted probably in excess of a few thousand trees immediately adjacent to this area, so I imagine now that they own this property and have preserved it, they'll continue that. So they're really great stewards of the property, and we're glad to play a part of that into the future with them. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 43.
Motion to approve the release of funds in the amount of $27,813.23 to Farm and Natural Lands Trust of York County for acquisition of a conservation easement of 42.279 acres in East Hopewell Township, owned by Dual Valley Overlook Farm LLC.
I'll second motion.
I have a motion and a second.
Great, so this property, again, I had actually thought the Ag Preserve Board was preserving the balance of this today. Maybe they've done it in a previous meeting or it's coming up, but this is a project we worked on together with the landowners. We're excited because it's adjacent to two of our larger easements down in this area, which are along the Rambo Run Stream and the north branch of Muddy Creek. These are some of York County's best streams. Obviously, we want to keep them that way, and we're happy to steward that into the future with the landowners. It's also on the state native plant inventory for some unique wildlife down there, and it's adjacent to another existing ag preserve easement on the other side. So this creates, I'm going to guess it's up in excess of 1,000 acres of preserved land in this area. So a nice continuous block that we hope to build on as well in the future. So thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 44.
Motion to approve the following new and revised county administrative policies in applicable form as recommended by a policy committee to become effective November 18th, 2021, as listed below in the agenda.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
And I know Christie isn't here, but I assume these will be posted and the employees will have access to them to read them. Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 45.
Motion to approve tax refund register 2020-31, authorizing payment of York County real estate tax refunds totaling $13.58.
I'll second the
I have a
motion.
motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 46.
Motion to approve tax refund register 2021-10, authorizing payment of York County real estate tax refunds totaling $7,049.93.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just asked Barb, the numbers normally go in order. You think these are correct?
Well, actually, in reviewing, getting ready for our year-end settlements with tax collectors, we realized that the previous register, although it had been submitted, had never been approved. So we're just
Oh, catching up.
catching up.
Okay, all right.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 47.
Motion to approve the check register for the week of October 27, 2021, totaling $13,306,268.81.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 48.
Motion to approve the check register for the week of November 3rd, 2021, totaling $3,423,053.38.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 49.
Motion to approve the check register for the week of November 10th, 2021, totaling $12,507,107.38.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 50.
Motion to approve the check register for the week of November 17th, 2021, totaling $2,859,394.70.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There were no executive sessions. We have one item under new business. I'm going to turn it over to Mark just to give a brief update of the preliminary budget.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As usual, the last meeting before Thanksgiving, we present the preliminary budget, which is required by state law. And then it's required that that budget lays open at least 20 days before the Board of Commissioners adopt it. This year's proposed budget, it represents $668 million. It's actually a $5 million decrease from the previous year. And that decrease is primarily related to the federal funding that was received under the American Rescue Plan, specifically the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which is decreasing in 2022 compared to 2021. As usual, our special revenue funds and our fiduciary funds make up the majority of the county's budget. The special revenue funds are the human services funds primarily, which is children, youth, and families, MHIDD, drug and alcohol, and those funds. The general fund, which is usually the fund that receives the most attention and the fund that we speak about the most, represents about 35% of the county's total budget. But it gets the most attention because the main source of the general fund's revenues is real estate taxes. And obviously, the real estate taxes affect every resident in York County. Normally, the biggest question, or the only question, regarding the general fund budget is, are my taxes going up? And unfortunately, this year, I have to say yes. The last tax increase in York County was in 2017. This year's budget reflected a $28 million deficit and requires an increase of about 1.1 mils. Question is, what does that mean for the average taxpayer? The average house in York County is assessed at $135,105. Currently, that property would pay $797.12. 1.1 mil tax increase would be an additional $148.61 on your tax bill. Why is it increasing? The answer is actually pretty simple. When you take a look at our revenues and our expenses, our revenues never keep pace with the growth in our expenses. Our largest source of income is the real estate tax, which makes up about 80% of the county's revenue budget. That increases about 1.25% a year, or about $2 million a year. On the flip side of the equation, the salaries and benefits for all the county employees make up the largest expenditures in the general fund budget. The wages alone amount to about $85 million a year, and on average, the wage increases are around 3% a year. Most of those are contractually obligated increases. The majority of our employees are covered by union contracts, and a lot of those union contracts are decided by arbitrators and are awarded to the union employees. So if you take the 3% times the 85 million, you end up with about $2.5 million in increases a year, compared to the $2 million increase in real estate taxes. So every year, we're about $500,000 in the hole just because of wage increases. The other main piece of the county expenditures are benefits. The benefits amount to about $46 million per year. Going off memory here, so bear with me.
$47 million.
$47 million. Of that amount, $24 million is for health care alone. Our health care went up 10.7% this past year, or another $2.6 million. Added to the other $500,000 in wages, we're now $3 million in the hole. And unfortunately, that's an annual reoccurring difference. And if you accumulate that over the last 5 years, you end up basically where we're at now, with a $28 million hole in the budget. And I should back up and say, add to that general inflation on all the other costs and services that the county has. So what are we doing about it? Fortunately, we've got a forward-thinking board. We're looking at other sources of revenue, broadband as one example. Our Other elected officials are working to collect outstanding receivables for the county. Our clerk of courts has specifically identified new programs to collect costs and fines that are due the county. We're looking at space utilization at the prison and ways that we may be able to utilize that space, other underutilized assets, and the board is currently working on a strategic plan for the county. Over the next month, we'll take a look at, other ways that we might be able to increase revenues, decrease expenses, and try to get that number down. But unfortunately, we're very limited in the types of revenues that we can charge due to state legislation. I'd like to specifically thank Meredith Schreffler, our new budget director, for all the work that she's put into the budget, as well as Tom Hoover, who retired last year and has volunteered to come back and help put together this year's budget as well. So,
Great.
that-
And it will be available
Yep.
at the Commissioner's office. There's a hard copy that anyone can come in and view.
And it'll be posted on the county's website for review.
Great, thanks, Mark. So we're going to move on to other business. We have 3 proclamations we're going to do today. We are really excited to acknowledge some organizations and some individuals in our community. And first up, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Smith. Oh, yeah. Are the proclamations in there? Okay. I'll try to scroll slowly.
I'm getting old, I can't keep up. Okay. Proclamation of the Muddy Creek Trout Unlimited Best Chapter Project, Best Chapter Newsletter. Whereas Muddy Creek Trout Unlimited is a local chapter of the Pennsylvania Council of Trout Unlimited, and this local chapter is a nonprofit grassroots coldwater conservation organization based in the rolling hills of southeastern York County. And Muddy Creek Trout Unlimited recently planted an extensive riparian or streamside buffer along Libes Creek in Stewartstown to protect the watershed from polluted runoff, erosion, and sunlight to support aquatic life. And Muddy Creek Trout Unlimited has recognized by the statewide council for their project's efficient use of resources and partnerships with other organizations, as well as its impact on the community and environment. And Muddy Creek Trout Unlimited was also issued the Samuel Slaymaker Award for Best Chapter Newsletter for regularly presenting the chapter's activities in a clear and visually attractive ways. And whereas Muddy Creek Trout Unlimited is a model chapter of Pennsylvania Council of Trout Unlimited, as is evidenced by Muddy Creek's engagement with and support from community it serves. Now, therefore, we, the Commissioners of York County, Pennsylvania, would like to recognize Muddy Creek Trout Unlimited for the group's outstanding efforts in preserving and protecting the Muddy Creek Forks for the anglers of York County and beyond. Given this day in York, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, on the 27th day of November, in the year of our Lord, 2021. In witness whereof we have hereunto subscribed our names, the York County Board of Commissioners.
So we do have a gentleman here from Muddy Creek Forks. If you'd like to say a few words, you're more than welcome to.
Just like to thank this board for the recognition. You know, we're an organization that's really dedicated to the conservation, protection, and restoration of the Muddy Creek watershed. We are one of the smaller chapters within the 49 chapters that make up the PA Council, but we've done some incredible work. We've got some incredible people here in York County. So I'd like to thank this board for the recognition today. Much appreciated.
It's recognition well-deserved. So I get the honor of doing the next one. Okay. So the next one actually is to an exemplary volunteer in our community who does work on behalf of Muddy Creek chapter. This individual is Fred Wilt. I do know this individual. I won't say how long ago, but he was my social studies teacher, and when I was on student council at Dallastown, he ran the student council program as a teacher. So, whereas Fred Wilt is an active member of the Muddy Creek chapter of Pennsylvania Council of Trout Unlimited and serves on its board, and where Fred has served his chapter, Muddy Creek Trout Unlimited, for 7 years through his volunteerism, which includes helping with youth outreach events, managing the nursery, and taking care of the accessible fishing area on Tom's Run, sponsored by the chapter. And whereas Fred teaches about trout in the classroom release days, connecting youth to the sport of fishing, educating them in the process. And whereas he mobilizes a group of chapter members and non-members to raise and stock 8,000, that's a lot of fish, 8,000 brown trout annually. And whereas after severe flooding in 2018 ravaged parts of southern York County, Fred recruited volunteers to repair the chapter's nursery and rebuild the accessible fishing area so people with physical impairments can once again feel the tug. And whereas Fred's efforts have enhanced Muddy Creek Trout Unlimited as an organization, as well as Muddy Creek Forks as a historic and preserved nature space. Now therefore, we, the Commissioners of York County, Pennsylvania, would like to recognize Fred Wilt for his outstanding volunteer efforts to promote Muddy Creek Trout Unlimited and to protect the Muddy Creek Forks area as an educational and recreational asset in the southern part of York County. Given this day in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on the 17th of November in the year of our Lord, 2021. And after we adjourn this meeting, we'll come up and do a few photographs, okay? And then we have one more.
Okay, and I'm happy to read this proclamation. I know Kelly's here, and she does a lot for the homeless in York County, and we appreciate all your work. This proclamation is Youth Homelessness Awareness Month, Pennsylvania Education for Youth Experiencing Homeless Week, November 14th through the 20th, 2021. Whereas in the 2019-20 school year, 37,000 students in Pennsylvania and 1,889 students in York County schools found themselves homeless or without adequate housing. The purpose is to educate the public about the prevalence of youth experiencing homelessness and the barriers that may prevent children from attending school. The McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act requires all schools to comply with the order to overcome those barriers. Affordable housing for displaced minors is in demand, necessitating support for homeless assistance service providers, as well as community service opportunities for students and school service organizations. There is still a dire need for additional resources to help students experiencing homelessness attend school and be successful, including the basic needs of food, clothing, shelter, and educational supplies. We recognize that homelessness continues to be a serious problem for many youth and families in our community. The intent of Youth Homelessness Awareness Month and Pennsylvania Education for Youth Experiencing Homelessness Week is to encourage schools, communities, and individuals to plan for and support youth experiencing homelessness as they look to complete their education and identify stable housing. Now therefore, we, the Commissioners of York County, Pennsylvania, do hereby proclaim the month of November as Youth Homelessness Awareness Month and November 14 through 20, 2021 as Pennsylvania Education for Youth Experiencing Homelessness Week, and encourage all citizens to recognize that many people experience unstable housing and are unable to provide educational needs for youth to succeed. Therefore, these families need support from citizens, schools, and private, public, nonprofit entities in our community. Given this day in York in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on the 17th day of November in the year of our Lord 2021, and it's signed by the Board of York County Commissioners. Congratulations.
Kelly, did you want to share any comments? So Kelly leads our Coalition for Homelessness.
Thank you all so much for doing this today. Thank you for the York County Commissioners' awareness and proclamation for youth homelessness in November, and also education for those populations during this week of November 14th through the 20th. The Coalition on Homelessness is a collaborative of community partners, housing and social service agencies, and volunteers in York County that work to provide stable housing for all of our households here in York County, Pennsylvania. I just want to highlight a couple of the activities we had going on this week for this event for youth homelessness awareness. On Tuesday, yesterday, we had a virtual session talking about trauma response and supports that are available to youth that have unstable housing situations. That was a virtual event, and it was recorded, so it will be available for those that may have missed it. Today, actually, while we're speaking, our group in York County, Educating Children and Youth Experiencing Homelessness, they go by the acronym ECYA. They are providing a virtual screening of an original play called I Will Be Your Voice, Stories of Homelessness and Hope, and then a panel discussion as well. That was also virtual this morning. Tomorrow, we have another virtual session scheduled to talk about student perspectives in York County around homelessness, and also some virtual resource fair activities for things that are available in our community to help. Again, that will be recorded, so we will be able to share that virtually for everyone to view later, or you can all still register to attend live tomorrow morning. Finally, on Friday is Red Shirt Day. Commissioner Wheeler has red on today, and I have some red shoes on, so I tried to represent a little bit. But Friday is Red Shirt Day. That's a day where we ask our community to wear red, to bring recognition to the challenges of youth that have unstable housing and how that impacts their education, and how we can advocate and support those families in our schools and in our communities. So thank you again. Details on these activities, easiest place to find them would be the York County Coalition on Homelessness Facebook page. It is pinned to the top. Registration links and viewing information can be found there. Thank you again for the recognition.
You're welcome, Kelly. I also wanted to highlight on behalf of Lindy Sweeney, who's one of our magisterial district justices and a member of the Southern York Rotary. They are working in conjunction with the Paul Smith Library of Southern York County. They have a panel discussion on homelessness that will take place on December 9th, 2021 at 7 p.m. That's also a virtual event. So if you go to the same page that Kelly just mentioned, you can register for this event as well. So with that, we will open it up for any additional public comment. Hearing none, if I could have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned. For folks watching, we are going to take a short break to take a few photos and get some water, because we do have several other things to cover today. So just bear with us as we take a break for no more than probably 5 to 7 minutes here. And then we'll move on to salary board. Okay, Fred, Jim, Kelly. Kelly. That's all right. Okay, we will move on. I'll call salary board for November 17th to order.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 20th, 2021 salary board meeting as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 2.
I make a motion to approve the positions, salaries, hours of work, and fringe benefits as provided by existing collective bargaining agreements or set forth in the York County Employee Handbook, the York County Policy Manual for the following departments and row offices as stated below, with no additional benefits or concessions unless otherwise noted, and they are as listed in the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. If I could have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned, and moving on to salary board.
Retirement board.
Retirement board.
Motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting held on October 20th, 2021, as submitted.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 3.
Motion to include the following vested individuals on the monthly annuity payment list as listed below.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 4.
Motion to include the following individuals on the monthly annuity payment list as listed below.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item number 5.
Motion to include the following alternative payee on the monthly annuity payment list as listed below.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Tyler, what is the alternate pay?
This is related to a court-related domestic order.
Oh, okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Any executive sessions?
None to report.
I'll open it up for public comment. If I could have a motion to adjourn.
Make motion during the meeting?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned, and we are moving on to the election board. So I call the election board, actually, I'm reconvening the election board from our meeting on Monday. First item up is some decisions the Board of Elections need to make regarding the meeting from Monday.
Okay. So on Monday, there appeared several candidates, write-in candidates for the board who had made requests for accumulation of votes, and I would like to state that the County Board of Elections has the authority to accumulate votes of write-in candidates at their request, whether it be an informal or formal request, and then those candidates would have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas within 2 days of any decision of the Board of Elections if they are aggrieved by the decision of the board. So I'll go through each of those requests for the courts, for the board's decision. The first one was Katie Bauer, I believe it's B-A-U-E-R, is that correct?
Yes, and I would also like to point out further from Monday that my name is not even spelled correctly on the agenda, so I think that's important to note as well.
Okay, so is the spelling?
With a Y, K-A-T-Y,
Okay.
B-A-U-E-R.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And Ms. Bauer is a Southwestern School District write-in candidate who has accumulation request before the board. I provided to each of the board members a listing of all the write-in votes for Ms. Bauer. And you would note that the name, there is a name spelled many different ways, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different ways. I don't know if you have any questions for Ms. Bauer about those spellings, or whether you're ready to make a motion to rule on her request for accumulation.
I know I've looked at the list, and I think my peers have looked at the list too, so
Yep.
I have no questions.
Okay. So then we would just need a motion for accumulation.
I'll make the motion to accumulate the ballots for Katie Bauer for the Southwestern School District School Board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any comments, Katie? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay.
I think we move on to Justin Lighty.
Moving on to Mr. Leidy, also a Southwestern School District write-in candidate. There's actually 2 requests by Mr. Leidy, so we'll deal with the first one, is the accumulation request. Again, I've provided the information regarding the write-ins for Mr. Leidy. The different spellings of his name, again, there were various spellings and initials provided. Do you have any questions or concerns about those? Okay, then I would request a motion to accumulate those votes for Mr. Leidy.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
The second matter with regard to Mr. Lighty is he also requested a recount of all the write-in votes for the Southwestern School District. I would note that there are a few areas where his name was written in incorrectly, but 0 votes were calculated. Those may have been a write-in for an incorrect office, so there's probably a little bit more research that could be done. So I would recommend approving that recount request, but I would request that that be delayed until the 29th, when we'll be handling other election issues after the statewide recount has been completed.
And you're recommending that because the time it will take to find the ballots and review the ballots and make sure they are appropriate?
Yes, all of those write-in ballots would have to then be reviewed again to make sure those numbers are correct and make sure that the areas where the software said that there was a 0 vote, but there was a write-in ballot, that they were correctly allotted to that particular race. They may have been written in, but the way our program works, it may have been for a judge of election by mistake, or it may have been for an inspector, so we need to probably check that out a little bit further.
I think the other thing to note is we have a statewide judicial race that we have some statutory requirements to have recounted by November 23rd. So that has to take a priority over this. And I do believe that the statute permits us to recount this at a later time.
Yes.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the request for a recount of that race,
And that would be for the write-in vote.
for the write-in votes.
To be done on or about after, or on or
November
about
29th.
November 29th.
29th, okay.
Yes.
Second.
A motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. On to Keith.
Yes. And the matter with regard to Keith Gelsinger, it was a request for a recount of the entire race that was based upon the fact that he believed that there was one write-in vote that was not posted. I did have an opportunity to specifically view the printout of the write-in votes for that race. There was one vote for Mr. Gelsinger for Southwest School District. I believe that you could agree to accumulate that vote and not grant the request for the recount of the entire race on that basis. So I would ask that you make a motion to accumulate that one vote for Mr. Gelsinger.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion or comments?
I would highly encourage you to do a full recount, not because of my vote. That really doesn't matter to me. It's more concerning to me about the 100-plus votes that are not accounted for on the computer currently. Because those 100-plus votes, especially now that you have combined Katie Bauer's votes, she could potentially take the seat from Vanessa Burton. So it's not necessarily about me or Mickey Mouse or John Wick or Jason Bourne. It's more about possibly those 100 votes that are still not accounted for. So I would respectfully request that a full recount of all of the writings be done just for that fact. So let the voters' intent be heard.
Well, Mr. Gelsinger, the board did approve the recount of the write-in votes. Your request on Monday was for a full recount of all of the votes. So they have approved the recount for just the write-in votes.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I mean, that's 5,000.
I think that-
Right.
So, I mean, that's suitable.
Okay,
I think that'll take care of it, yep.
okay.
My main question would be is, are they going to physically look at the ballots to ensure that people that may have missed the bubbles being filled in, that those names are still, the intent of the voter is still being heard?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Any further discussion?
No, thank you.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. On to William.
William Wyatt was a candidate for Carroll Township Judge of Election. He has requested accumulation. I have disseminated the information related to that Carroll Township race. It appears that there was one additional vote for Mr. Wyatt one vote at a different spelling and 31 additional write-ins, which didn't include his middle initial. Unless you have any questions or concerns, I would request a motion for accumulation of those votes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A motion, a second. Just for those on the slide, the acronym JOE stands for Judge of Elections, just so everyone's clear. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. On to Charles.
The next matter is with regard to Charles Hobbs, who is a Southeastern School District School Board Region 1 write-in candidate. He has lodged a written request with our office to have his write-in votes just related to Region 1 cumulated. He received votes under both Chuck Hobbs, Charles Hobbs, and just his last name. I have disseminated that information for the board. And if you don't have any questions, I would advise a motion to accumulation of those votes in that race as well.
Okay, I'll make the motion, and it is Southeastern
Eastern.
School District.
Southeastern School District,
Okay.
it is Region 1.
Region 1, I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I will open it up. Any public comment before I move on to new business? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business.
Okay, we also received a request for the Council for Faith Casal requesting a recount of the Central York School Board votes and for accumulation of any other votes for that race. That we did take a look at that race, even those that were on the ballot, it was very close, so I would advise that we make a motion to complete a total recount of Central York School District race and to have that also occur on Monday, November 29th at 1 p.m. in the York Elections Office. And Faith Casal's council is agreeable with doing it in that manner. And obviously, we then would also be required to notify candidates and political parties of that.
So when you're making this request, there were 4 candidates that were being elected out of the number of people that were running. We're doing for everybody or just for Faith?
No, it would have to be a recount for all of the individuals
positions.
on the ballot.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that individuals that are on the ballot, their write-ins are not permitted to be accumulated.
Right.
But we'll probably take a look at that as well, but it would be to run the recount of the individuals that were on the ballot.
Okay. I will make a motion to complete a recount of the Central York School District race, which shall occur on Monday, November 27th at 1:30 p.m. And you're,
It's Monday, 29th.
20.
It's Monday.
29th.
oh, okay, I was reading this one, 29th. At 1:30 p.m. in the York County Elections Office, and to direct the election office to notify all candidates and the political parties of such recount as required by election code.
Second.
Motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I'll just open it up once again for any public comment. Hearing none, if I could have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day, and happy Thanksgiving.